Hey, this is Chris Gore. You're listening to Dr. Gonzo Radio on Dr. Gonzo Piqua something.com. I don't know. What am I supposed to say?
Yeah, we'll have Zach. I'll have Zach do the next bumper.
So, hey, Dr. Gonzo's here.
Put a dime in him, you gotta let the whole song play out.
He's like human jukebox.
Oh, he's a talker, ain't he?
He's an old fat crapper man.
Our parents were the greatest generation. Our dads went overseas to fight a war. As soon as they came back, they grabbed our moms and hit the sack, and there they stayed from 1946 to 64. Making babies.
Lots of babies.
The baby boomers.
76 million.
And we grew older, but we're not dead yet.
Hail to the king, baby.
I'm so confused.
Brian Wilson died today at 82 years of age. Some of you may know I was good friends with Hal Blaine. I used to play drums for Gary Lewis and the Playboys, and Hal Blaine played in the studio drums on all the Gary Lewis and the Playboys stuff. There is a little conflict about that, but there should be no conflict because the Wrecking Crew did the music for the Playboys. So anyway, don't want to go down that battle, but Hal Blaine was a good friend of mine. I had a lot of one-offs. I've never met or played with Brian. I played a one-off with Mike Love's Beach Boys. Did percussion for them at one gig. And when I say a one-off, it's like I had a one-off with Buddy Guy. That means I got called for a gig and did it one time. I had a one-off with Chuck Berry because a lot of times Gary Lewis and the Playboys would be the backing band for other guest stars we'd have on a cruise and all that. So anyway, I was good friends with Hal Blaine and missed him. I miss him still. He's went to heaven, and Brian's up there meeting with him now. And I'll tell you what, here's my interview with Hal Blaine that centers on the Beach Boys. So Hal gives you a lot of insight into him and Brian's relationship. They had a really good relationship together. And as well as Hal mentions, Hal, you think I talk. Hal, just got to put a quarter in the jukebox and let him go, because Hal talks a lot and he always likes to name the names. So this is for all you music geeks out there. I don't monetize my channel. So all I would suggest to you is if you want to donate some money, sign up, be a member with, I like Film Threat with Chris Gore and Alan Ing, Gary Beaker over at Nerdrotic. There's a whole bunch of folks that Gary has on Friday Night Tights. Of course, I love all the crowd that hangs with them. Dante, of course, Angry Badger. Just a lot of good channels out there, but I don't monetize because I have a regular job, Monday through Friday. So here's my interview with Hal Blaine. I hope you enjoy it. And hey, let's turn off the news and listen to a little music. Why don't we?
2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Tim in the morning. Tim in the morning.
How was it? You guys are really known for the Beach Boys stuff. How was it collaborating with the Smile album and then onto Pet Sounds, which I mean was a great album, Good Vibrations in particular?
Took some nice pictures with Brian not long ago. I was doing a documentary at one of the major studios, and when I finished all my work, the producer said, "Come on in here for a second." And here was Brian working in the original studio, and sitting there with his wife. They were mixing some stuff that he had done, some new stuff for himself. And we had a great reunion, took some nice pictures and so forth. I used to contract for Brian. Brian used to come in and see us with Phil Spector. he had heard Be My Baby, coincidentally, and wanted to know more about it. And he had a little group at the time called the Pendletons, I believe. That was us with the shirts they wore. So all of a sudden, Brian was coming to the dates. Phil would invite him in, let him watch and so forth, and that's the way Phil worked. Because there was a big sign on the door at Gold Star. Closed session, do not enter, no admittance, that type of thing. And if anyone stuck their head in, including Sonny Bono or David Geffen or any of these people who were wanting to see what this magic fairy dust this guy is putting on records, because they were all hits. Everything we did at Gold Star with Dave Gold and Larry Levine, the great engineers, and Bob Ross, one of the owners. I mean, they were all making major names for themselves because they were doing nothing but hit records out of the Gold Star. And so Brian used to be there in the audience. They'd grab him, and Phil, no matter who stuck their head in, he would say, Hal, give him a tambourine, give him some shakers, give him a cowbell, give him something. And the rhythms, not rhythm section, but the percussion section, which was usually Frank Capp or Julius Wechter from the Baja Marimba Band, Phil would say, give him something to play, and we'd give him castanets or jingle bells, anything. And that was another thing. People would say, this is not a Christmas record. Why are you using jingle bells? And Phil would say, I love that. Leave it. Or castanets. They'd say, this is not a Spanish record. I loved castanets. I used to have castanets on castanets. There were 4 sets of castanets going at all times. And that's what, it was just, if a record felt good, we had a record. And that's the way it worked with the Beach Boys. Phil had me come in. I would bring the guys in. Brian would sit at the piano, and he'd play 4 bars of music, and then he'd say, that's it, thank you. Brian happened to be deaf in one ear from an accident, and he had to hear. He didn't actually sit and write out parts like some of the greater concert arrangers, composers, and people that wrote parts out. These guys that did all the Sinatra stuff, etc., that parts were written out. With the Beach Boys, Brian would come in early, see the secretary in the office, have her print out, through the copy machine, 6, 7, 8, 9 parts, just to show us. They usually had the key changes or chord changes and a break or something. And Brian would ask us to play. And there'd be maybe 4 rhythm section, 4 of us playing rhythm, maybe a couple of trumpets, saxophone. And so we would play, and Brian was listening. He was experimenting at all times. And he'd say, okay, that's fine. Thank you very much, gentlemen. A 3-hour session that we're paying pretty good money in those days. We're getting, I don't know, $25, $35 for the 3 hours, which was a lot of money in those days, $10, $12 an hour, plus your pension. And sometimes we would work 4, 5, 6 hours. So it kind of balanced out. But it's the way Brian worked, and we always had people like Lyle Ritz would be on the bass. He was a great upright bass player. He was the #1 ukulele player in studios. He was a dear friend, and he is still with us. He's still up in Oregon. And it was always Larry Neckel, or it would have been Joe Osborne, incredible bassist with the Fifth Dimension. There was nobody like him. And people like that. And we would play 4, 5, 6 bars of music. And maybe Brian would say to the trumpet player or saxophone player, come down an octave or go up an octave or make it a flatted this instead of a minor this, or instead of a sharp flatted or a sharp note, make it flatted there. Let me hear what it sounds like. And we would rehearse these things, 3, 4 bars of music, and he would say, thank you, gentlemen. That's the way we did Good Vibrations. That's the way we did all the Beach Boys tracks of music. And we did everything that way. And sometimes, then Brian maybe would go into another studio and bring in 6, 8, 10 strings, or just a horn section, or just a brass section, or just whatever he brought in, just percussion. Was fortunate enough to contract all those things for him. And that's how all that stuff came about. Brian used to come to my house every day, sit at my piano, clunk away at the piano. My little baby daughter was then, 3, 4 years old. She would sit on his knee sometime, and he would rock her while he was playing. Brian is an incredible gentleman, and as I said, I had a wonderful get-together with him recently. We were both working on projects over at what today is called East West Studios. In those days, it was called United Western, and Brian did all his work at Western Studio 3. That's where we played. We did just about every basic track out of Western 3.
Hail to the king, baby.
What the hell are you two doing? That's called rocking out. You wouldn't understand, Dad. You're not with it. I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. Now what I'm with isn't it, and what's it seems weird and scary to me. It'll happen to you.
And this is Dr. Gonzo for all you baby boomers. Hey, like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you right around the corner.
Hi, my favourite DJ, Dr. Gonzo, is on the air right now. Dr. Gonzo is live Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The doctor knows what you need. The true classic hits of the 60s, 70s and 80s. So tune in to gonzoradiopequa.com 24/7. Buy the ticket and take the ride, because that's just what the doctor ordered. Tune in worldwide on the internet of Spotify.